Hello everybody, this is Alex from Hardcorian Guides, bringing my guide for God of War Ghost of Sparta on God difficulty. Today we're doing part 6 entitled Jails of Sparta. We go to technically 3-ish areas. We start the mounds of Laconia in the very end of this, and we start off in Sparta. I could have just called it Sparta, but the jails tends to kind of take up more of the part anyway. You got a boss fight with the Praeus Lion, and I was planning and hoping that I could edit out this part. Well, not really edit it out, but more so fast forward through it because it's just a giant walking section. And I do the sex minigame. But I was going to leave it in so I can show you guys where, I find all these chests at and stuff. Like, granted, I could still just cut it out and not have to worry about any of this crap. Because, like, in all fairness, this... I would argue this entire section is just, for a guide, is relatively one big giant waste of time. But still, I want people to know, I want people to see that, oh hey, he went out of his way, or not out of his way, but he went and he got red orbs here. He went out and did the sex minigame, got red orbs there, and all that other fun stuff. So... just because we got plenty of time to yap about things, if anybody remembers, I did a Metroid Dread 0% item run with no upgrades a while ago. And I'm still surprised I did that, but... oh, it was also on Dread mode too, I think. Pretty sure it was. I believe so, I don't have to go check. But either way, I still find that insane that I did that. But... I've now come to the realization that's not as bad as, I remember it being. And I just, out of curiosity, I was like, you know what? I kind of feel like playing Metroid, just like 2D Metroid stuff, and I whipped out Zero Mission. And then I started trying to see if I can probably do a 0% item run on that game, too. I don't have hard mode unlocked because every time I play the game, I play through normal mode. And the problem with that game, though, is in order to keep hard mode even unlocked, you have to kind of have a save file that's essentially like a beaten game of it. And then you have to beat the game, and then it just unlocks. It should unlock hard. But every time I play the game, I just play on normal, because like I play the game often enough to where it's like, well, often enough, yeah, to where I'll just usually just whip it on normal, play it, and then just be done, right? Because that's Metroid. So I don't have hard mode unlocked. And in all honesty, hard mode would make it even way more fucking difficult, I can tell you that. So if I ever decide, if it gets down to it, if I ever decide to do a 0% item run for Metroid Zero Mission, I'm going to be honest with you. I understand that Hardcorian should be about, playing games on the hardest that you can. However, I think for that run in particular, I might just start on normal first, so that way I can prove that I can do it with 0% items. Also, this part... it's not too hard. I don't think you can really die here. All you gotta do, realistically, is just block before he goes for an attack. You can kind of tell when he's probably gonna attack. Like, usually after 2 regular square hits, he'll put up his shield. And then if you attack his shield like a second time, he'll try to, like, retaliate most of the time. So that's something you have to, like, preemptively block for that. Again, this is just a big giant nothing burger anyway, so you don't really need to worry. And that right there is just, it's going to happen. I don't think there's really any way to get around it. Also, Kratos as a young kid was like the ugliest motherfucker ever. I'm sorry, I'm just saying, like, I don't know why, he's just such an ugly bastard back then. Jesus Christ. Yeah, here I am just making fun of Kratos as a kid and his parents and everything. I don't know. It doesn't look right. Like, whenever I think of Kratos as a kid, it just doesn't ever sound right to me. I'm so used to Kratos just being what he is that, yeah, it's just weird. Like, I can definitely probably imagine Ratchet as a kid. He's probably pretty adorable, probably pretty, fluffy, furry, whatever. Because he's a Lumbax, of course. And then Jack, I don't know. I mean, Jack... yeah, we've seen Jack as a kid because... oh, that's right. I'm like, but it works. But, I don't know, some characters just... I don't think it really works out very well for them. Alright, so here we go. Satyrs. This is the Chains of Olympus version of Satyrs. And they're actually a lot easier in this game than they were in Chains of Olympus, I would argue. So, My pro strat is essentially just go for grabs. That's the best way I can put it. I mean, of course, if you want to parry their attacks, go right ahead. But the thing is, they tend to just kind of fuck off and run around the map a lot. So I just don't even bother with trying to fight them normally, or just even try to fight them in general and just go for grabs instead. Of course, that move right there, I believe, is unblockable. It looks like it's supposed to be an attack, but as far as I can tell, it's just an actual grab. And luckily for me, the idiot, let me do a finisher on him to basically break that door and find out that, oh yeah, there's actually something back there. This is usually why, well, I don't typically try to save health chests. It just happens, because, like, a lot of the time I don't really need it. But, you could always save one around if you get into an arena and you're like, oh yeah, I know what that's going to be like, I should probably save it. So if you ever felt like doing it, there's that. But then again, this is God of War, and typically a lot of God of War games, if you die a bunch of times, they'll eventually just start giving you health back, which, I don't know how I feel about that personally. I mean, I don't really mind it as much, because it's like, alright, well, that just makes my life just slightly a bit easier. It doesn't really help that much, because a lot of fights in this game, you can get easily wrecked and take a lot of damage if you're not careful, of course. So even if having like a tiny bit of health coming back doesn't necessarily realistically help all that much, but I don't know. I guess to an extent it does. Also, I could have sworn that there was chests that you have to go back and get in the jails, but I didn't find any that needed requiring me to go back and get them at all. So the jails of Sparta has always been kind of weird for me, because I always felt that it's a lot bigger than it actually is. It just, as far as I can tell, that's not the case. So I don't know where I got that idea from. I mean, I have no clue, but still. Anywho, yeah. So back to Metroid stuff. I would like to do Metroid, because like I plan on doing Transformers, like actually sitting down and doing it again, doing Wheeljack's campaign next, because that's a project I'm working on. For those that are curious, like, why do you keep doing it so much? Well, it's a project, that's why. So I would like to do that, but yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, I do plan on doing it, then after that I don't know what's going to happen. But real quick, yeah, you can just straight up block that. So the Minotaurs are not that scary. I thought that because it's a hammer Minotaur, I was like, oh great, now I have to deal with something even worse than I did before. Also, real quick, those spiders that first appear in the room that you saw, just go immediately after them and just destroy them as fast as possible, because this is on a time. It is on a timer. Like, essentially the Minotaur will break out of his jail cell eventually. So you kind of just want to get rid of the spiders in a group as fast as you possibly can, so that way you don't have to worry about the Minotaur and them at the same time. And the Minotaur is just relatively pretty straightforward to kind of take down, because all you gotta do realistically is just, hammer smash face. So yeah, all right, the Preyas Lion, I'm talking about using the cores. He's got a lot of weird attacks. A lot of his attacks can be parried, like this one, even that swipe, but I think there's one attack that cannot be blocked or parried. I think that one, I think the slam, it looks like it can be blocked at the very least. So yeah, it looks like you can block almost all of his attacks, but I could have sworn he had a third attack. Well, there's that. Yeah, that screaming thing. It's just like the sirens from God of War 2. It just knocks into a state. You have to keep mashing buttons to get out of it. Nothing too bad. And as you can tell, doing a lot of core attacks, like building up a lot of cores to explode on him, it can, every once in a blue moon, or it seems to happen enough to where it can actually stop him from doing an attack on you. And by the way, this boss does have quite a bit of health, I would say. I think it definitely has a little too much, if you ask me, but it's a boss fight. It doesn't really feel like a boss fight, but it's supposed to be. It's so weird, I don't know. But yeah, I just do the same thing over and over again. Go for parries, go for explosive cores. It's the same concept as always been. This guy used to give me a lot of trouble, but then when you figure out, like, oh, I can just block, like, most, if not all his moves, he's just a big, giant, nothing thing as well. Thing is, weirdly enough about this guy... Sorry, excuse me, I'm tired, I don't know why. Weirdly enough about this guy, I always kind of felt bad for him. Like, I understand that he's a dick, You know, because he closed the gate on us. But yeah, right here is where I thought you had to come back to, but I guess you don't, so. I think I didn't, I don't know if I edited that out or not. Of me running back and checking. Yeah, the thing is, too, like, this guy's in jail for a reason, right? I mean, well, then again, it's the jails of Sparta. I'm sure there's people in here that are probably most likely innocent, but who knows? I don't know. I don't know what it is, but his face is just so sad. You know, I don't know what it is about him. But then again, like I said, you know, he's kind of a dick that closed us in there, so it's kind of his fault. Damn, I'm just... It's only fucking 5:30. It's 5:30 on a goddamn Friday. And I'm this goddamn tired. Yeah, I know. I'm alone on Valentine's Day. Shut up. What's new? I mean, I've done that for 30 some odd years now. What do you want from me? But anyway, so... Got the kill. And that pretty much should be the end of jails. We have about... Looks like about 7 more minutes left of footage, so... We got to go through, I think, a little bit of the mountain area, and then after that, it's pretty much just it for that. And then after this video, we have about, like, 5 more videos to go through, I think, something like that. So, we're getting there, we're getting done. I'll try to pump these out as best I can. I have other things I would rather be doing, of course, but, no, don't get me wrong, like, I like doing this. I'm just saying, like, there are things that my brain is trying to prioritize, like, you should do that. And it's like, I know, so it's just yelling at me all the time. Which is why it's kind of bad to have these, because I do tend to get kind of addicted to doing guides a lot of time, whether it just be recording the gameplay aspect of it and or sometimes along with it, you know, doing commentary. That can be fun sometimes too. And that's why I like 15-minute to 20-minute parts, you know. It's just, it's a lot nicer that way, because I have, you know, if I run out of things to yap about, God forbid, then I can at least just be done 20 minutes in and just, there you go. And time goes so fucking fast nowadays. It's just 20 minutes is just nothing. You know? 20 minutes is just, it's just nothing. But anyway, yeah, I was just telling you guys about, you know, Metroid. Maybe you might see another Metroid guide. Maybe I might just do Dread Mode by itself, just to show people how to play Dread Mode. But that just seems kind of pointless, because then at the end of the day, it's a no damage run. That's all it is. There's nothing more I can give you for a guide. I mean, yeah, 0% items was the thing, but, you know, I feel like doing Dread Mode again would just be kind of a waste of time. I love Metroid Dread, dear to death, my favorite Metroid game nowadays, but still, like, I don't know what I really want to do after Transformers to make up for those other few campaigns we have left, so who knows? Because we still got Wheeljack, and then after that it's Grimlock. Is this episode 6? Yeah, this is 6. Okay, I think I was thinking of, like, if I wanted... I forgot, I was going to talk about that, too. Something happened. I forget what it was. Whether it be like, oh, should I stop the video now or what? I think that's what I was considering. I was looking at the video footage. I'm like, I could quit and call it a part, but I didn't. So, yeah, who cares? It's no biggie. But anyway, Dread also has hard mode, which is the actual game's hard mode, which is in all technicality hard. But then again, most of what I would say for Dread would just be the same thing I say all the time about Metroid Dread, which is just don't get hit here, and there you go. So it just seems, again, kind of like a pointless guide. That's why, in my opinion, doing Dread mode for Metroid Dread, 0% items was a good idea, because it at least allowed me to do a guide of something that I can actually, you know, give advice about. Like, oh, how do I dodge this item? How do I dodge this item? Because there's items in the game that are kind of hard to pass over. And you know, I figured out a few tricks here and there that allowed me to figure that out. I think there was one that I eventually learned a better way of doing it, but still. That was a fun thing to do, right? And I feel like the same thing could happen, especially for Zero Mission, if I did 0% items. Because I feel like for hard mode, it'd be a case of, get this item, and use it like this, and avoid these guys, you know, that kind of thing. So, there. Alright, another Satyr fight. It's just once again a nothing burger, this time with a Gorgon, so that's always great to have. Even though there's a Gorgon in the fight, I would still recommend that you focus primarily on the Satyrs, and that's a big concept for a lot of hack and slash games that I play anyways. When it comes to a lot of games, you want to kind of just prioritize something that would be more annoying. Like, if you know for a fact that that Gorgon's not going to hit you anytime soon, why fight her? You know, why not just deal with the satyrs that are just completely annoying? Like, I understand that, like, oh, I could just use the Gorgon to, you know, stone the satyrs. But yeah, you could do that. That is, you know, something you can do, of course. But for me, the satyrs are just annoying enough to where, like, I'd just rather just deal with them first and get rid of them, because the Gorgon ain't gonna do shit. Every time I grab an enemy, she's just gonna stop attacking anyway. It doesn't really matter. So that's my thought process on that type of stuff, to be honest. I think I mentioned this before, but Ninja Gaiden would be kind of fun to go back into. I've already beaten the original. Well, I've beaten the 3 games, the reboot series. So I've beaten Sigma 1, Sigma 2, and Razor's Edge, but I haven't beaten like Vanilla 1. I haven't beaten Black 1. I haven't beaten Black 2. I haven't beaten OG 2. I haven't beaten OG, Vanilla 3. Any of that really. So I don't know. Things are up in the air, basically. I'm just trying to, like, figure out, because I don't want to do just God of War Ascension right after I do Wheeljack's campaign, because I kind of want to give something else a shot, just to give a little bit of variety. Because now I've actually kind of changed the way that I do things. It used to be I have to wait 3 whole different guides of different franchises, different games, in order for me to even do a guide of the next game, which is why it took so long to finish Transformers. And nowadays, it's just like, just don't do them one after the other. Like, do Transformers, then God of War. Transformers, and then you can do God of War again. That's been all changed, which is kind of crazy how, like, you can see how a lot of stuff has changed over the years for me doing guides and stuff. Like how I title everything now. I don't even have guide in the title anymore. It's just, here's the difficulty, here's the chapter, let's just do it, So, there's that. Yeah, I would love to get Transformers done at least this year. That'd be nice. I could do it. I mean, Transformers. I've done it like 3 times. It's just like, I have to get back in the groove of how to play the game again. I have to be careful, and I have to be not such a perfectionist. Also, I go this way first because it makes the most sense. These guys are here. They're going to shoot you down when you're on the ropes. You might as well just get rid of them while you can. It's just archers, so yeah. Another guide I thought about doing was, I think I mentioned this before, but a God of War 1 no damage run would be fun. However, I'm not sure exactly how good I could probably do. I could probably do it, but I feel like it might take a while, especially with the clone fight. That's the thing that I'm worried about more often than not. Ares, he should be okay. It shouldn't be that bad. If I get hit once, restart checkpoint, there you go. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what I decide to do, if I decide to do anything. It could be Ascension next, who knows. I'd rather it not, but hey, out of all the God of Wars, that's like the last one I want to get done. Like, I beat this game. I just got to do all the commentaries, and that's it. And then Ascension. Like I said, I would love to finish Ascension on this channel. I don't really care much for God of War 4. And if I was to do 5, I'd have to do 4 first. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you all next time for some more God of War Goes to Sparta. So take care, everybody.